So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about 7 chords. So in the previous video, we talked about just the triads, the major, minor, diminished, and augmented triads. We're going to talk about 4 different 7 chords today. We're going to talk about the major 7, the minor 7, the dominant 7, and the minor 7 flat 5. The reason why these 4 are the most important to learn, in my opinion, is that they are the 4 kinds of 7 chords that come out of the major scale. We'll talk a little bit about that later. So what is the 7? It's just the 7th degree of the scale. It's plain and simple. It's the same form of language that we were using in our triads. All that we do is we add the 7 on top of the triad that is already present. So we're actually adding to the chord. This is now a 4-note chord rather than a 3-note chord. So the first chord is a major 7, which is just 1, 3, 5, 7. It just contains the 4 notes of the major scale, thus major 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. Then we have the minor 7, which is 1, flat 3, 5, which is the same as our minor triad, but we've now got a flattened 7th on top. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. Then we have the minor 7, flat 5, which is just our diminished triad from before. 1, flat 3, flat 5, but with a flat 7 thrown on top as well. 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. And finally, we have the dominant 7, which is 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So we have a major triad on the bottom and a flat 7th on top. 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Unfortunately, with the 7s, there is a little bit of hidden language, much like how we have to learn that minor triad means there's a flat 3. We just have to remember that in a dominant 7, for example, there's a flat 7. In a minor 7, there's a flat 7. This is just the way it is. It's kind of annoying, but it is part of the language. And once we know it, it's going to be the same every single time. So when we work on more complex chords, nothing is really going to change from here. So like in my previous video, the best way to practice these is to start them as arpeggios, then turn them into chords, because it's still going to allow us to play every note. You're going to find that issue where you've got 2 notes per string, which means we can't play every note in the chord, which will mean you'll have to do the revoicing process as well, which we will talk about later. If you found any of this information useful, I do teach for a living, and if you wanted to learn a little bit more, just hit me up in the DMs and we can sort out a time to do some lessons.